Hey, how's it going? Welcome to another Vant Trading video. This one's going to be another trading platform review. This one is on Interactive Brokers, or more specifically their desktop app Trader Workstation. So this is if you have an Interactive Brokers account, this is what your platform would look like. And remember, all of these platforms reviews, we're going to be going over what we like about them, what we don't like about them, some of the features, some of the surface flashes about each of the platforms. We're not going to be able to go over everything. These platforms can get far too detailed and tricky, but we'll be going over the general gist, give you a decent idea of what it would be like to trade on these things, and give you an idea of some of the benefits of these platforms, what they do very well, and what some of their flaws are. Each platform is going to have things that they're very good at, and each platform is going to have things that they're not so good at. Especially when you look at a trader's perspective, a trader may like one feature on a platform and think that it makes them all the money in the world, while another trader looks at that platform and says, what the hell are you doing? Why are you trading on that dinosaur? It's all in the trader's opinion. It's all in the eyes of the beholder. And in this case, we're going to be going over Interactive Brokers. So first of all, what is Interactive Brokers good for? Well, in particular, Interactive Brokers tends to be good for you if you're a high volume trader and you have a lot of capital and you need a good cost structure. A lot of times you'll see some institutions or private groups, maybe some small or large hedge funds trading on Interactive Brokers. They have some good structural things for these hedge funds. They have good API, they've got some good platform systems, and they've got some pretty decent support. First of all, let's look at the fees and the commissions. They have a fixed structure, like most platforms do, and they also have a variable structure, like most platforms do, in terms of your commissions. And in this case, here's a little visual representation. The fixed structure is a 0.005 per share, which is interesting because usually those fixed structures are just a flat rate, not per share. So in my mind, that kind of downplays and degrades the value of the fixed structure, because now you're not really getting that benefit of trading a whole bunch of shares. There's still benefits, and there's still fee differences and some electronic fee differences depending on what platform you do. It's just important to note that. If you're going to decide on what commission structure you have, you're going to want to look at all the ins and outs, bells and whistles of the commission and pricing structure to identify which one would suit you better on your average trading month. Maybe map a month out in trading and see what would cost less. Their fixed or their variable structure, as you can see, is definitely geared towards large traders. You have anything greater than 100 million shares per month. That can be a lot of volume to some traders. That can be a lot of volume to most traders. There are going to be some experienced traders, and there's going to be a lot of hedge funds and groups that have their own specific trading strategies already figured out and coded out that'll do this volume and will really benefit from this cost structure and these cheap commissions. So that's generally what the commission structure looks like. Certainly not the worst in the world. I think it's actually pretty decent, pretty middle road in terms of, how it treats all traders. In terms of promotions, that can vary per day. You just want to look at that. I don't really ever see that many from them, and they don't really need to. Their account minimums, you need $10,000 for an account minimum, which is a little bit on the higher side, not really that high though, to be honest. And their margin account minimum is only like $10,000 as well, and they give you the standard 2-to-1 overnight and 4-to-1 intraday. Pretty standard in the industry. And if I'm being completely honest, that $10,000 account minimum for a stock account is actually on the low side compared to what I thought they would have. I mean, they, tend to favor these bigger accounts, and they don't necessarily not care about the little guy, but they don't, they know that's not their niche, and that's not the kind of trader that they're attracting, is these small accounts. So moving on, they have a pretty decent mobile app. You can get some live data in there. You can get some charts and put studies and technical indicators on your charts. You can execute your trades and track your positions. So in terms of mobile apps, they've got a pretty solid one. It's not terrible. And in terms of customer support, if I'm being completely honest, they're not our favorite. It can always vary per trader. It can always vary per account. It can always vary per call. You could be reaching out and happen to get just one of those not so sufficient reps from any platform. Every platform will have a rep that may not be as good, and every platform may have a rep that's incredible and stellar. That's kind of the luck of the draw. But when looking at the average of our interactions with the customer service at Interactive Brokers. The wait times can be a little longer because they're a very high volume company. You know, they have a lot of calls coming in and out. And typically, you know, when we talk to someone, you know, it's not always the best experience. You know, they don't always have the best demeanor, and they're a little less cordial at times. But, you know, if that's something that doesn't bother you, it's not something that'll ever really, you know, hurt you. It's just sometimes you may have a little bit of a wait time, but it's not going to be something that cripples you. In terms of their hotkeys, they actually have some pretty decent hotkeys. They have fully customizable hotkeys. Let's kind of show you an example. We're going to pull up the settings page here. They have a lot of very detailed settings that you can go through in terms of all these different things. And if we go to the hotkeys, as you can see, they've got a lot of variety. They've got different maneuverability on the functions. They've got some analysis things like showing quote details. They've got, you know, flipping between some of your windows, and then they've got some orders. So like you go into your buy, you can double click to create a shortcut, and you can create a pretty basic one, or you can customize it. You know, you can have it buy or sell, you can change some of the order types, you can have it, you know, you can have it change stop price offsets, things like that. You can have it do a little bit of stock algorithms if you have any of that. You know, there's a decent amount. It doesn't give you super amount in terms of routing, but actually in terms of the field and their competitors, this isn't a bad system. You know, you can actually do a decent amount with this, you know, if you're more experienced. If you're not as experienced, it just may take you some time to get into it and really get your hands in there and figure out exactly what you're doing. But as you can see, they've got a lot of different stuff that you can customize: API, your display, your orders, what some of the smart routing does, your charts. Just like most other platforms, they give you a lot of customization, which is always nice. In terms of locating shares, if you're trying to trade those hard-to-borrow stocks, it can get a little odd, but it's not in a bad way necessarily. You can check if something's hard to borrow on the platform, like so. Shortable, Apple. If I pull up a different stock, let's say BLNK. So you're probably going to have to locate shares for BLNK. You know, but if I trade a stock that you know is going to have a lot of shares, you know it's going to be shortable, it'll tell you it's shortable. It's no problem. Also, you can pull up these watch lists. You know, if you have something like a watch list, you can add a column for shortable shares. Apple's got a lot of shortable shares. You know, if I put something else like Microsoft, a lot of shortable shares. Let's try something, you know, maybe not as shortable. No shortable shares. So it's something you're going to have to locate. Now, in terms of locates, it's not that bad either. You can locate them on the platform where if you try to put in that order, it'll tell you if they have any available and how much it would cost. Or you could even just call them pre-market and pre-borrow the shares before the open, which is actually very nice. Some platforms don't let you do that. So, you know, if you know you're going to possibly want to trade something, you can give them a call, see if they have some cheap shares, and locate them for the day. So in terms of stock locates, it's actually not that bad. It's actually pretty decent, simply because you can actually go on the platform itself and see that. Now you can also go on their website, and they have a list on their website that they update every day with the stocks that are shortable, or, you know, how many shares they have and things like that. So that's also very nice. You can do a lot of this without having to interact with someone and have to wait on a call. So that's always going to be pretty nice. In terms of ease of entry, it's not terrible, simply for the fact that you can customize your orders a lot. If I go to just like an order entry window, let's just find a basic one. This is pretty simple, you know. You want to limit, you do limit, and you can type in your price, you can type in your quantity. It's pretty easy if you have these order entry windows. And, you know, part of the ease of entry is just how customizable some of those hotkeys are. So ease of entry, you know, you're going to be able to get in and out fairly quickly if you want to. You know, they have some of the better hotkey capabilities out there for day traders and for people who want to do some specific things. In terms of charting, I mean, as you can see here, it's fine. It's middle of the road. You know, the fact that we're getting these good hotkeys and some of these good features generally means that the charts are going to lag a little behind. You know, you can put some studies in here, moving averages, things like that. You know, and it's going to take you some time to kind of get the hang of this, There's a lot of details, but it's fairly easy to operate. You know, it's not going to be the hardest thing. But again, they're not the, you know, the prettiest charts in the world. But some traders don't need that. A lot of traders just need the basic thing. You know, they can kind of see, they can look at it, you know, draw what they need to do what they need to do, and it's no problem, you know. So charting isn't the best, but it's not the worst. You know, you can still do some things with it. You can add some arrows, you can add notations and commentary to some of the charts, which isn't bad. And you can move them around, resize them. You can create different windows down here, you know, and name it something. So this can be chart window. And then you could put like 8 charts. You know, you could just put a whole bunch of charts and fill up this page. And then from there, you know, I could put a whole bunch of these and link them to each other, have different time frames. So there's still some capabilities you can do for yourself. It's not, you know, it's not completely rigid. News services, they do have some pretty good news services. So when you first open up the platform, they give you, bam, a nice little daily lineup. This is something that's actually pretty nice. They give you some world market breakdowns, some analyst info, earnings, economic events. You know, it's actually pretty decent. You know, some of this you can customize and launch, and you can look at some of the top news articles. So that's not bad in terms of a, you know, daily view. And then they've also got this news. This news is linked to my market maker. So say I want to know what the breaking news in Apple is. I pull up Apple. This is all the news that has Apple mostly or at least somewhat referenced or could somehow possibly influence Apple. So it's actually pretty solid if you want some breaking news and you know something is moving and spiking and has breaking news and you want to see what that is. That's actually not too bad. And in terms of some other stuff, you can just look at the market news. You know, this is just constantly streaming. There's different news services. There's different data feeds you can get. It all depends on what you want to pay for versus the free stuff. They do have some good free stuff, so it's really, you're not going to be sweating it. And in terms of some of the other windows you can open, you go to open window here and you can look at all these different things you can open. You can get a basket trader, you can get option stuff, you can get some strategy builders, you know, time and sales level 2. You can get a journal for you people who, and honestly it should be most of you who want a journal. You can get some fundamental stuff. You can get short interest. That's a big deal. You can get dividend calendars and all sorts of statements. You can get a lot of details in a lot of different windows and have a lot of fun with this, and then create these different tabs down here. And then, you know, say you want to have this tab be on a different monitor, you just kind of drag it out and it pulls it out. It's a whole nother window now that I can move around and put in another monitor. So you can actually create some pretty customized setups here. You know, if you just want to track them by stock, you want to put in, you know, your activity monitor and things like that. You can do a lot with this platform in terms of functionality. In terms of API, they actually have a very good API system. We can't show it on here because it's a whole nother app, I'm pretty sure, and you'd need to really sign up and get it set up, and that's just not something that we're going to do right now. But it is very good. A lot of people like it. A lot of people actually build some automated trading systems off of it or some alert systems off of it. They have a pretty good API support system and support staff that can help you with what you're doing. So if it's something that you want to code and you want to actually code in some strategies and things, you can do that pretty fair, you know, pretty decently. And they also have a few different options like Python, ActiveX, .NET, and things like that. You know, we haven't used them heavily, but we do know some traders who use them and actually really like the systems that they use. They do have simulated trading, which is nice, which is, you know, paper money account. So if you're a new trader, maybe you want to set up a paper money account to test and, you know, practice your trading. Or maybe you think you have an automated trading strategy, but you don't have enough confidence in it to put real money behind it. Send it into the paper money account. See how it does. See how it trades. That's a great benefit and a great tool that not every platform has. So the simulated trading is always something that you can look into. And in terms of other features, you know, they've got a lot of windows. They've got a lot of things on their website. They've got a lot of bells and whistles. You know, they don't have as many cool flashy things as some platforms, but in terms of compared to the rest of the market and the rest of the field, you know, it's actually not half bad. The thing is they just kind of fit in this niche where if you only have $25,000 for an account, you want to day trade really heavily, it actually could still be pretty decent for you. You just need to look at the cost structure. You need to look at whether the platform gives you everything you need, because like we always say, some platforms are going to be perfect for some traders, and other traders may look at that same platform and be like, I don't understand how you can make money off of this. It's all about the features and and the details and how it fits into your trading plan and your trading style. So overall, this is a general look at Interactive Brokers. Very solid platform. A lot of people use them for a reason. They're very well known globally. And they've got a lot of effort and a lot of capital put behind this platform. So there's a lot of things you can do, a lot of bells and whistles, and you can have a lot of fun with this and make trading your own. But it's important that you continue to do your own due diligence and make sure that you master the platforms so that when the trading time comes, you're able to have efficient, fast trading and have speed at your disposal so you don't make any mistakes and lose unnecessary capital. I thank you for tuning into this trading platform review. I hope it was a big help. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us, and safe trading out there.